kind of the reviews first to make sure I don't miss anything. So, Bird Girl, universally negative rating. Adult Swim original series launched on Channel 4. Paget Brewster, Rob Delaney, Tony Hill. Somehow I find it good. Whoops. Harvey Birdman, Attorney General. Universally negative rating. Adult Swim original special, I guess. I don't actually know. Watch on Channel 4. Gary Cole, Paget Brewster, Stephen Colbert, Peter McNicol, Greg Griffin. Phil Lamar sounds familiar. He's done a lot of stuff. Anyway, it's terrible. It's like if they were... Okay, it's like if someone made a parody of She-Hulk, and I get that it aired before She-Hulk, but that's just what it felt like to me. Because that show was already over the top, but then this one somehow makes it even more over the top. Samurai Jack, universally positive ratings. I think it's a Cartoon Network original series, but I watched it on all 4. Look, it's Phil Lamar again. Greg Griffin, John DiMaggio, Kevin Michael Richardson, Tara Strong, Tom Kenny. Darren, he's in Veronica Mars. Oren Tom, Jennifer Hill, Keegan Michael Key, Billy West, George Takei, Clancy Brown, Josh Peck. It's good, but I don't see myself watching any more of the series. Black Dynamite, the cartoon, universally negative ratings. I think it's an Adult Swim original series, but I watched it on all 4. Michael Jai White, JB Smoove, Orlando Jones. This guy looks familiar, and also his name sounds familiar. Probably from the Boondocks, but I don't know what his voice is. Probably. Oh, it's probably Uncle Ruckus. Anyway. Snoop Dogg. Tyler, the Creator. I think Gary Anthony Williams is the voice of... I forget the name of the... What was he, like, the Grangla in the Boondocks? Tim Blake Nelson. John DiMaggio. Samuel L. Jackson. Charlie Murphy. Chance the Rapper. Is Denzel Whitaker related to Forrest? Wait, I think I've looked this guy up before. Whoops. Yeah, I think I've seen him in something before, and I wanted to look up if they were related. Yeah, where was I? Kevin Michael Richardson, Billy West, Phil Lamar. It's good. I have yet to see the movie, but if it's anything like the show, it's going to be fantastic. This school, on Thursday, the 10th of November 2022. Actually, before I get into it, this isn't a family segment or anything, but I just want to mention this. We were having burgers for dinner tonight, and I wanted some ketchup on my burger. So, luckily my mum got a ketchup bottle on Saturday, and used it, so I opened it up, and couldn't find out where to put it, so I just put it on top of a shirt, which I thought was my brother's school shirt. I thought I'll be fine. So, squeeze the bottle, and a tiny bit gets on the burger, but most of it goes on my brother's jammies and his, what I thought was his school shirt. It turns out it's just a regular white shirt that I wear sometimes. I just kept on spilling it everywhere because it's not going out straight. My brother said that there might still be a bit of plastic in it, but I searched around in the bottle using a knife and I couldn't find it. Anyway, on to school, actually. The app that we use to write the scripts has been put on to our computers now because they weren't on the new computers. Because we got... Some people got new computers, some people didn't. I was one of the ones that got one of the new ones. So I wrote up my script and I did some improvements. So it's 7 pages, which actually I don't. Problem is that because I filled up the entirety of the last page, it actually had another page onto it. So I don't know if it's actually 7 or if it's just 6. But I can't have much more because it can only be up to 7 pages. Did some homework, read a bunch. I was going to read I should just say it because I finished it, Minority Report. I'll do the review later in the video. I wanted to read Minority Report, but I looked at my iPad storage and it's gone up for no reason. So I might have mentioned this in one of my videos, but I'll mention it again just in case. Last week, my iPad had 28.5 gigs used out of 32. So that's 3.5 gigs left. On Tuesday, all of a sudden it jumped up to 29.1. And this morning, it jumped up to 29.5. I haven't done anything to increase or decrease the storage on my iPad. Like, most of it is going to come from books and photos. I haven't taken any photos. Well, I've taken photos, but they've all been deleted within, say, a couple of minutes at most. So even then, they shouldn't really be adding, 0.1 of a gig. It's not even 0.1, it's like 0.5, 0.6 of a gig. Ignore my brother being your average football fan. So, no photos recently. I haven't read comics recently because I want to finish Minority Report. But it's all of a sudden jumping up. So it was 29.5 and I thought, okay, this isn't good. So I'm nearly out of comics to read because not all the comics I've bought are downloaded. Like, most of them aren't downloaded. I've bought them, but they haven't been downloaded yet. So, let's see. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 109 books in total. Now, I'm going to count how many have been downloaded. 10, 20, 30, 33. Most of these I can't read yet because because they're DC. So even though that I don't have to do this, I want to do it this way. And I know I'm giving off spoilers for what the next reviews are going to be, but I want to read uh, the Crisis is whatever, pre Flashpoint. So I've already read Infinite Earths, so it's Zero Hour, Crisis in Time. I've already read Identity Crisis, Infinite Crisis, and Final Crisis. But to read Zero Hour, Crisis in Time, you also need to read The Death of Superman, Reign of the Superman, The Return of Superman, uh, Green Lantern, New Dawn, Emerald, Twilight, I think it's called, Armageddon 2001, and that might be it. I don't know. And that's just so I can read Zero Hour, Crisis in Time. Then I can go on to all the books that you need to read before Infinite Crisis. Because I mean, I only read Identity Crisis because it's not required reading, but I was told that you are better off reading it before Infinite Crisis to get a better understanding of the story. So, if you ignore all the DC stuff on here, I have the House of Cards book, Rizzoli and Isles book, The Green Mile, the first Game of Thrones book, a Jack Ryan book, multiple Spider Family comics, a couple Miss Marvel comics, and Watchmen. I was reading Watchmen, but then I decided screw it. The reason why I wasn't reading the multiple Spider Family comics is because maybe all of them, are Spider-Gwen and Silk. But they cross over and I couldn't be bothered, even though it's a very simple Google search to see what point I'm at. So I read actually, is this a review? Let me just check. Because I still have the Wikipedia page up on Chrome. Okay, that's a yes. I read Spider-Gwen Volume 2. It was alright. I'm sorry. Yeah, not much else I can say. So I read that. So, and read that, deleted it. So my storage went from 29.4 to 29.3. Which, still progress, I guess. I was just used to the bigger, more space coming off than that because I was reading the bigger comics like Under the Red Hood and Curse of the White Knight. And now the only big one I have left is Watchmen. So I've read Spider-Gwen Volume 1. There's a crossover between her, Silk, and Spider-Woman called Spider-Woman. So you need to read the first 2 volumes of Silk, the first 2 volumes of Spider-Gwen. The first 2 or 4 volumes of Spider-Woman, then Spider-Women. So now I'm on Spider-Women. Then after that, I can go back on to Silk or Spider-Gwen, whatever I choose. I'm probably going to go on to Silk because there's another crossover in Spider-Gwen with Ultimate Spider-Man, but I don't own the Ultimate Spider-Man comics to go before that. Also, I was making progress in Armageddon 2001, but after I read Dark Knight Master Race, I wanted to look up what other Dark Knight books there are, and I know I said this in my Spawn review, but there's a crossover between Spawn and Dark Knight. So I started reading Spawn. You only need to read the first 20 issues of Spawn. Problem is, the issue 10 of Spawn is a crossover with a character called Cerberus the Aardvark. But I can't really get access to Cerberus the Aardvark. The only place I've seen where I can get access to it is some shady website that if you click on literally anything, it will take you to porn. So I need to find somewhere where I can read Cerberus the Aardvark. But Cerberus the Aardvark started in 1977, and issue 10 of Spawn came out in 1992 or 1993. So I need to read a hell of a lot of Cerberus the Aardvark, unless I don't like the comic, just to catch up with Spawn, just so I can read a Batman crossover. And then I've got all the other Batman crossovers. Then I want to read the third White Knight book. And then, if I finish Watchmen by the time that's all done, I'll read the Watchmen prequel, the Doomsday Clock. Well, maybe not Doomsday Clock, because I think it's connected to the New 52 or Convergence or Rebirth or something. So my phone's nearly turned off there. I'm getting rambling, but I'm at least not repeating myself. Well, technically not repeating myself. So I'm gonna count. So I have Spider-Woman, Silk Free, Silk 2, Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Gwen 2, Spider-Gwen 3, Spider-Gwen 4, Spider-Gwen 5, and Spider-Gwen 6. That's 9 books out of 33. Yeah, it will take off quite a bit. If it's going to be 0.1, then I'll be down 0.9, which would bring me... let me just check my storage, because it's probably gone up. Oh, I forgot to mention, it did actually go up earlier, because, as I said, after I finished Spider-Man, I went from 29.4 to 29.3. Last time I checked, it was up to 29.5. I'm checking now. It's currently 28.4. The hell is happening? I think I'm going to continue reading the Spider Family comics, just in case. And then when I've done that, back to Watchmen. I don't know. Anyway. I'll do this. I'll do this now to get out of the way. As said earlier, I read Minority Report by Philip K. Dick. It's a good book. Although it's a short story. It's only 44 pages. Maybe 40. Yeah, let's just say 44 for now. So, it gets into the story quite quickly, which I'm not a fan of. But I'm also not a fan of them taking a long time to get into the story. So, moving my armrests. I think the film is better, but I would say I don't remember the ending of the film, but the ending of the book was great. Anyway, I asked the moving image teacher if there was a studio in High Street, because I thought there was. I remember my dad telling me when we were at High Street once. She said she didn't know, and she asked the entire class. It turns out someone there, his mum might work there, and it's actually a dance studio, but they do have something that could be used as a padded cell, because that's what I need the studio for. I swear I remember the name of that place being SoFlo Studio, because I've looked up SoFlo Studio and they do have a padded cell, but the website is saying, like, get all this for however many dollars. It says they're located in California, so I don't know. Later on, their moving image teacher asked if she could borrow my charger. I gave it to her, but I went back to my school without getting the charger back. So I'm not going to have my charger until Tuesday, luckily. My dad has a charger. Although it's just not a good one. So hopefully I'll be fine. And if not, you can't really blame me, can you? It's the other school's fault. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Fight the other school? Anyway. In study, the teacher was able to connect to my iPad, despite the fact that I haven't updated it in months, and I heard that turning Bluetooth off makes it impossible to connect. But I have Bluetooth off and she's still connected. I'm going to keep trying to make sure she can't connect, because at this point, if it's impossible, Incident 7 will not happen. Well, there will be an Incident 7, there just won't be what I predict the Incident 7 to be. I fault. I've probably said this before, excuse me, shifting about in my chair. Probably said this before, but I predict that Incident 7 would be that she noticed that she can't connect to my iPad. I was going to say, yeah, you can't connect to my iPad because it doesn't have any space, which means you can't update it, and you need to be updated to be able to connect. So the way that you need to be able, the way that I'm going to get to my iPad is to read, so you need to let me read. Oh, okay, that's fine, yeah, you go read. But no, it doesn't matter, apparently. So, Incident 7 is going to be something else that I can't predict. I can't, I'm not going to know what it is until it happens. Which means that I can't prepare to fight back against them. Anyway, I went to go to the library for my prefect role, but teacher still isn't in, but I did leave my copy of Blade Runner. And in English, Sir gave us 10 extremely long questions. I'm talking at least 2 pages each. That's 20 pages max. And I knew he was going to say for next week. Luckily, we're only supposed to do the first 5 questions. How long has this been on for? 21 minutes. That's quarter as of 27 past 7 p.m. The fanatical elites who are weaponizing mental illness and are also waging class war. They're against cheap energy and industrial capitalism because they lift up ordinary people and close the gap with the elites who want distance and inequality. Let's read. Just now, journalist. Is Elon a national security risk? Biden. He needs to be looked at. Journalist. Hi. Biden. There's lots of ways. Looking more and more like the candidates the establishment Republican machine demonized and attacked are the ones that will take the House majority from Pelosi. And still haven't counted all the votes. Why does it take so long? Because it's America. So, the majority of Democrats are unmarried women. And the majority of Republicans are married men. Really says it all. The regime wants to turn everyone into unmarried women. It's a joke. Pfizer chief CFO describes pandemic as a multi-billion-dollar franchise. Right, you're saying it like it's Marvel. As firm prepares to stick a 10,000% markup on its vaccine. $130 per dose on a vaccine that costs just $1.18 to make. Keep getting your boosters. I'm not reading any of this. We live in hell. You say we, but that's America. Pfizer CFO posted the vaccine franchise. Represents a multi-billion-dollar market for years to come as it marked up prices by 10,000%. During a bumbling speech Wednesday, a reporter had to remind Biden where Russia is currently engaged in conflict after the president suggested Putin's troops were about to pull out of a city in Iraq. Wasn't that... Sorry, let me shift my legs in my bed. Didn't that happen like last week? Where it's like, Russians fighting people from Iraq. Oh, sorry, I was thinking of where my son died. Maybe he did it twice, I don't know. When could... Happy day after election day. I'm on a press call with Pima County officials about their progress on counting ballots and what we can expect in the coming days. Expect more results from Pima County posted at 6 p.m. When could Pima County finish counting ballots? The 14th or 5th. Whoops. Sorry, I clicked on something on my iPad. 14th or 15th, we should have the majority and just be looking at those last ballots. Someone tells reporters. They may have finished counting most of the ballots by next week. Who's counting them? First grade children? Throwing decisive victory secures third term as Kentucky Senator Rand Paul promised the end of the corona cover-up by forcing Anthony Fauci into court. Good. But I mean, it's happened before. Fauci has been in court and Rand just goes ham on him. Fauci's like, please. But then the media twisted it around to make Fauci look like the badass that's asking the embarrassing questions to Paul. Where Paul's like, please. Anyway. 72-year-old man has been sentenced to 6 months in prison for the crime of serving mince pies with wine at his shooting club in 2020 while the area was under a lockdown. Oh no! MAGA candidates being killed by the GOP. The GOP. Why would Trump do this? I'm going to take forward just hours to count 7 million votes, and yet we don't know the results in Arizona or Nevada until next week. Got a very highly requested MAGA letter tonight, next hour or so. And he had his woman taken from him by the communists, making him hate them so much he didn't care who he had to work with, just to get back at them. Just wanted to bring the red out the Red Army. Laurie Allen Torney, the soldier of free armies. I just downloaded 2 4-books. The reason why I have done this is because I need to read those books so I can read another 4-book which is already downloaded. So I'm taking 2 steps back so I can take 3 steps forward, I guess. And I was about to do the same Miss Marvel, but then I realized I don't have to. Everything I need, I don't need to read anything before these Miss Marvel comics that are already downloaded. Anyway. Yeah, I've already said that. Fins and YouTube calls me out, yay! Anyway, and you annexed his fucking hometown. Oh god. Still voting, eh? You blackpilling on voting is kinda cringe. What's cringe is still supporting a system that's a demonstrable failure. Told you before you should start an org to try and create a voting bloc relating to the issues you feel strongly about. The fact that that's a thing that can be done is further proof it doesn't work. Political organizing is an integral part of democracy. If you and enough people in your country care about something, you should organize and leverage your voting power to change attitude and policy in existing parties. Sort an organization that has the power to influence votes, I'm not saying anything correctly today. Thereby forcing my form of government on the non-consenting losers by using a system of information influence control to get the only 40% required to win. How, in 2022, can you still be supporting this? First, you will never have a government that doesn't have people who don't consent. Any form of rule will have people not agreeing with it. Second, I can only assume that in your mind lobbying is when a fat cat drops his cartoon money bag on an MP desk and tells him what to do.